There's an app telling drivers right now, keep 100% of the fare. Zero commission, and for a flat fee of $99 a month, no Uber cut, no Lyft cut, and it sounds like a dream, right? Except there's one word missing, and that is insurance. Now, this app has already gotten kicked out of Washington D.C. and is currently being sued by New York City to be permanently banned, and now it's landed in Miami, a city that once issued over 700 citations just trying to keep Uber and Lyft off the street before rideshare was even legal. So today we're answering the question every driver in this city is about to ask me. Is Empower actually legal to drive for in Miami? And I'm going to give you the real answer, not the marketing answer, because what happens in Florida is legally different from what happened in D.C. and New York. And that difference is exactly why this gets confusing. So let's get into it. And, Empower is a rideshare platform built by a company called Yazam Inc. And it's founded by Joshua Sear. And it launched in D.C. back in 2020. Then it expanded into New York City in 2022. Then Baltimore, and then Winston-Salem and Greensboro, North Carolina. And as late of December 2025, they officially announced Miami as their next launch market. And the pitch is simple. Instead of Uber and Lyft taking 40, 50, 60% on every fare, Empower charges drivers a flat subscription. Historically, anywhere from $29.99 to $99.99 a month, depending on the market and the tier. And drivers, they keep every dollar of the fare that they set themselves. Riders reportedly save 15 to 20% compared to Uber and Lyft. Now, on paper, that's a great deal for a driver doing high volume. But the reason that it's cheaper for everybody is the same reason that two major cities have gone after it. Empower isn't licensed or registered as a for-hire dispatcher in the city that it operates in, and by its own admission, does not provide insurance. Now, we'll come back to that, but first, let's look at what happened when this app tried to operate in cities with strict local licensing. DC's Department of For-Hire Vehicles hit Empower with a cease and desist because the company refused to register as a licensed dispatch service. Empower, they ignored it, and they kept operating anyway. So in November of 2024, a DC Superior Court judge ordered Empower to fully halt operations in the city, but Sear didn't comply. The company racked up over $100 million in unpaid fines, and prosecutors moved to hold him in contempt of court. And by fall of 2025, facing actual jail time, Sear agreed to stop operating in DC. But instead of shutting down, he found a loophole. He started giving drivers free access to the app inside city limits, arguing that if no money changed hands for the subscription, he wasn't technically violating the order. In April of 2026, a judge actually agreed that the free ride version didn't violate the order, but Empower is still formally barred from operating as a vehicle for hire company in DC. It's alive, but only through that legal side door. And New York City's Taxi and Limousine Commission first sent Empower a cease and desist all the way back in May of 2022. Empower kept operating for 4 years. So a second cease and desist went out in March of 2026, but Empower kept operating. So on March 27th of 2026, New York City filed an actual lawsuit seeking a permanent ban. The TLC's exact words: Empower has facilitated over 100,000 rides in the city without ever applying for a license, and it's flagrantly flouting the rules that every other license base has to follow. So if you're a driver caught using it in NYC, you're looking up to a $500 fine and a potential loss of your TLC license. If you own the vehicle, that's up to $10,000. And that TLC has been blunt about the insurance issue specifically. And they quote, "If a driver is involved in a car accident, neither the passenger nor the driver will likely have insurance for that ride because it's unregistered." But here's the wild part. None of that has stopped the growth. Monthly active users in New York Metro jumped 155% to 92,000 users between last May and January, according to Sensor Tower. People keep using it because it's cheaper. That's a pattern everywhere this app goes. And here is where most people online get this wrong, and where it actually gets interesting for us specifically. In DC and New York, the entire case against Empower is about licensing. Those cities have local agencies, the DFHV and the TLC, with the power to require a business license before you can dispatch a for-hire vehicle. Empower refused to get one, and that is the whole violation. But Florida doesn't work that way. Under Florida Statute 627.748, the state legislature explicitly stripped counties, cities, and even airport authorities of the power to license, tax, and regulate rideshare companies at all. The law says basically these companies are, quote, governed exclusively by state law. Miami-Dade legally cannot require Empower to get a local for-hire license. They cannot impose a local tax on it, and they cannot require a business license to operate here. Now, this is a huge shift from what Miami used to do. Back in 2014, before this state law existed, the county was issuing hundreds of citations to Uber and Lyft drivers because local for-hire vehicle rules made it flatly illegal to operate without a county chauffeur registration. That's the Miami's strict reputation that people remember. But once the state preemption law passed in 2017, the county lost that authority entirely for TNCs. So if you think Miami-Dade is going to send police to impound Empower drivers' cars the way DC did, legally, they can't. The fight is over. But that does not mean Empower is automatically legal here. It means the real legal exposure shifted from do you have a city license to a completely different question. Does Empower actually meet the substantive requirements Florida law puts on every transportation network company? And those requirements are specific. Florida law requires a TNC to maintain or requires drivers to maintain primary insurance of at least $50,000, $100,000 to $25,000 while a driver is logged in or waiting for a ride, and a full $1 million policy the moment the driver accepts a prearranged ride. That's the exact coverage Uber and Lyft carry on every single trip. Now, go ahead and read Empower's own acceptable use policy. It says in all caps, Empower is not responsible for and does not procure insurance on behalf of service providers or consumers. Their own support team has told drivers directly, Empower does not provide insurance. Multiple drivers on Empower's own subreddit confirms the same thing. You're expected to bring your own personal auto policy, and most personal policies explicitly exclude commercial for-hire use. That's the actual legal problem here in Miami. It's not about a city permit. It's about whether an app that doesn't carry or require the state-mandated insurance can legally call itself a compliant transportation network company under Florida law at all. Now, let's make this practical because this is the part that actually matters if you're considering this app. First, the good news. Relatively speaking, Miami-Dade cannot pull you over and impound your car for just using an unlicensed dispatch app the way DC police have done to Empower drivers. That specific legal weapon does not exist because of the state preemption. And now the bad news, and it's serious. If Florida law requires a $1 million in coverage the second that you accept a prearranged ride and Empower isn't providing that insurance, the gap doesn't disappear. It lands directly on you. In two ways, it can hit you. And one is civil liability. And here's what I need you to actually understand is the difference between the two things people keep mixing up. A rideshare endorsement and a commercial policy. They are not the same coverage, and the gap between them matters a lot. Now, a rideshare endorsement is a cheap add-on, usually $10 to $30 extra a month, tackled onto your personal auto policy. All it does is close a small gap. It keeps your personal insurer from denying your claim just because you were logged into a rideshare app when something happened. That's it. It protects you and your vehicle. It's not built to cover the passenger that's sitting in your back seat, and it's not built to cover the other driver that you hit. Those endorsements are designed to plug a hole that exists because a company like Uber and Lyft already had a $1 million commercial policy sitting behind you as the primary layer. The endorsement is a small patch, not the safety net. With Empower, you're not getting that $1 million layer behind the patch at all. So if you're running a rideshare endorsement and you're doing Empower rides, the third-party injury exposure, your passenger, your other car, and their medical bills is not actually covered the way the state law requires. Now, a commercial policy is a completely different animal. There is a full standalone livery and commercial auto policy, the kind actual black car, limo, and true commercial operators carry. And it's usually required just to hold a chauffeur or for hire permit in the first place, separate from any app, because that policy treats the vehicle as a commercial passenger vehicle from the ground up, and it doesn't depend on which app dispatched the ride. It's yours, full stop. So realistically, the only drivers who could arguably run Empower rides without immediate coverage gap are the ones who already carry a real commercial policy, the black car and livery operators. That commercial coverage would actually help close the insurance gap. But here's the part that matters to your wallet, not just the coverage. If you're already carrying that commercial policy for Uber Black or private black car work, the fares that you'd be pulling on Empower are nowhere close to what that same vehicle, the same coverage, and the same time behind the wheel could earn doing actual Uber Black or private black car trips. You're not comparing $99 a month against Uber's commission anymore. You're comparing Uber Empower's economy tier rates against black car rates, and black car wins every time. So even for one group of drivers where the insurance question is arguably solved, the math still doesn't work. You'd be using premium commercial coverage to chase the cheapest fares on the market when the same coverage qualifies you for higher paying ones. And for everybody else, the majority of the drivers with a personal policy plus a rideshare endorsement, there is a real gap, and you become personally responsible for medical bills, property damage, and a potential lawsuit with no $1 million backup behind you. And 2, Florida Statute 324.221 makes it a second-degree misdemeanor to operate a motor vehicle without the state-required financial responsibility while transporting a paying passenger. If Empower isn't structuring your coverage the way the TNC statute demands, you could technically be the one holding that exposure, not the app. And for your riders, if you're a driver talking to people about why fares are cheaper, understand that they're accepting real risk too, not less coverage. In a lot of these situations, zero coverage. And if their personal policy doesn't step in, which most won't for a paid ride. And I'll be honest with you, I drive Uber myself, and I had a rideshare endorsement before I got a commercial policy to do Uber Black. And if you're doing Uber and Lyft, you need to at least have that endorsement on your policy. That's the minimum standard for doing this the right way. And that's exactly why Empower's pitch is so misleading to drivers who don't dig into it. The whole savings pitch skips the right past that baseline. Yes, the take-home pay looks better on paper, but better pay doesn't mean anything if the cost of the insurance gap only shows up on the one day that you actually need it. That's the part that nobody runs the math on. It comes at a massive cost that these guys don't think about until it actually happens to them. So, is Empower legal in Miami? Technically, it's better positioned than D.C. or New York because Florida strips the county of the power to ban it on a licensing technicality. There's no local DFHV, no local TLC that can pull the plug the way the two cities did. But the county can't touch you is not the same as you're covered. The real risk with Empower in Miami isn't the city fine. It's what happens in civil court or in front of a judge on a misdemeanor charge after a crash with no insurance standing behind you. And if you're a driver, that's the actual math that you need to run before you cancel Uber and Lyft for a flat $99 fee. Not the marketing math, but the liability math. So drop a comment if you actually tried Empower in South Florida. I want to hear from your experience and how it was. And if you found this useful, subscribe and like the channel. Remember, drive better, drive smarter, and drive without the frustration.